Well, I'm going to come out here and do a little tour of the little small garden I have and give you an update of how everything's doing or how it's not doing. On my patio garden, this is my black coat bean plant. You can see the red buds where it's starting to flower, and then I'll start having beans on that. You'll see my bay laurel plant. It's getting bigger and taller. My citronella plant's doing really well and healthy out here on the patio. It likes the shade. And then I've got the top 6 up here, bush green beans. I just thinned them out today and deadheaded all the yellowing leaves from some of the hot sun and that were not doing too good and getting too much shade from being too thick. And I haven't thinned out any of my herbs yet. That will be probably tomorrow, but some of them are doing really well. My basil there is doing great. That needs to be thinned out. And this is my cilantro. And looks like rosemary there. The other 3 aren't really doing very good at all. These are I have my other 3 beans here, and they're starting to grow up. They haven't started flowering yet, but they got some buds on them, so it won't be long. Once they start flowering, budding, they'll start getting beans. And my kidney beans, great northern beans, and what's the other bean? Another bean. Forgive me for forgetting at the moment. And over here, this bed, I thinned all these out today. They were really thick. And green onions, leeks, and shallots. And so I thinned them all out so they're not really laying up too well. And tomorrow I'm taking off all these greenhouse tops because it's too hot outside to have them. And I'll replace them with a netting top that I have. And here's my cucumbers growing up. And they're doing well. Got some flowers here doing well. My citronella doesn't like the full sun, I see. I may have to replant that elsewhere in the shade. My peppermint's doing amazing. Doing really well. My spearmint over there is doing good. My root crops aren't doing so great. They're really in a shaded area. I had this tops on them, and this over here is shading this area. Plus, I'm going to fertilize tomorrow. Everything good fertilize. And today I've been weeding all the garden and doing all that. I was also going to show you an update on the strawberry tower, the difference of how the bottom 4 towers are doing compared to the top tower. The top tower, these 2 plants here, there's 2 strawberry plants on top. And I decided to let those fruit and bloom. I was going to test it to see the difference of how they would grow compared to the bottom ones and not letting those buds down and taking the buds off for the first year. So it will develop the good roots. Well, as you can see, when I'm debudding them, not letting them fruit, the foliage and the roots are really getting a lot bigger and stronger. And the ones at the top that I've been letting to fruit, the foliage is not as big. So it's stunting when you let them fruit and bud and fruit. The foliage doesn't get as big. So that's one thing you can tell the difference in of how it's doing. And I have lots and lots of runners that I will use to do some runners in the tops and maybe replant some elsewhere, get some other pots maybe. Over here, I have 2 Radish Rolls that are doing great and are already ready to pick. Some of them are good, ready and size to pick. As you can see, I'll pick this one here. And see, that's a good size, good eating size. It's a little small one. I didn't get a chance to thin them out. And so I'll probably go thin these out tomorrow and let some of them get pretty big, and some of them I have some small ones. And I don't pick my asparagus for the first year when I transplant it or plant them. I'll let them go to fern, so that way they'll have established the roots really well. And my pepper plants haven't gotten too big. Like I say, tomorrow I gotta fertilize. I haven't really done a whole lot this week or anything to my plants. I need to fertilize them, and they'll start doing better once I do that. And I believe let me put this over here. I believe one of the reasons why my lettuce greens aren't doing so well is because this greenhouse top is maybe keeping too much heat in there from the heat outside, and it heats up inside, and it's kind of killing it off. And but I did fertilize it when I planted all these things. This was supposed to be kale and spinach, and it just really isn't growing well. And this arugula is just turned red. But now I have been eating off of my lettuce, and I've already cut off it twice, and it's growing up. In some areas it's not growing so well, but like I say, tomorrow when I take these greenhouse tops off, I'll expect some of this to do better, and some of it I'll probably reseed some more and pull it up and reseed them again, and they'll probably start doing better. And I had to move my 3 pea pots. These are my green peas, black-eyed peas, and purple-eyed peas. They're a little bit yellow because they were in the shade. Because my potatoes have taken off so well, and they're getting so big and bushy, they were actually so shaded in the very back there, and they wasn't getting very much sun. So I had to move those out today, including my little small flower pots weren't doing so well because they were in the shade as well, so I pulled them out. My sweet potatoes, since they're about 2 weeks behind these, but they're starting to take off pretty well. And so these flowers are really doing well here. Wherever I've planted these, several of these have really done well, and they're so pretty. I've been really enjoying those. And this is something that was really thick and overly seeded, and I thinned them out big time today. My bok choy never got big enough for me to harvest or eat, and it bolted because of the heat and the cold. And this center row here is kohlrabi. It still looks pretty healthy. The turnips were so thick that I literally took out 3/4 of them and left and thinned them out and left some, and hoping that maybe they'll start coming out and I can have some turnips maybe. So I'm hoping to save some of those. Whoop, I almost fell over the potatoes behind me. So anywho, that's pretty much my little small garden. Oh, I need to show you my tomatoes. Let's go over and look at my tomatoes. As you can see, where I've weeded so much, all my weeds have been thrown in the fire pit to burn those later. My lilies are blooming. I got several lilies all over. My little cherry tomato plant is really tiny. It's not really growing too tall. It needs to be fertilized. I got a few little babies on there. Little baby cherry tomatoes. And some of my tomato plants here have got some blooms on there. And they're getting taller, so I've had to stake them up and string them up some more. These 2 varieties are really going to be my big ones, I believe. I really believe they're going to be my big ones. Good slicing tomatoes. And these will be a little bit smaller. I never have grown these 2 before. And these bottom 3 here are sauce tomatoes. And this one's a little bit, Kate is a little bit crooked here. But these are my sauce tomatoes, and some of those are budding down there. I've got them all staked up and waiting for all them to start getting to where I can start having some tomatoes soon. So this is my small garden. It hasn't gotten anything produced that I can eat off of it except for my lettuce. But it won't be long. And I'll have me some more food I can take out, bag up, cook up, and show you some recipes with what I bring out of my garden. So just wanted to show you where I'm at on my garden and how it's doing. And I'm showing the good, bad, and the ugly on what's good and what's not good. Because this whole garden on this side of my house is all 100 experiment garden this time, because it's a new area I haven't gardened in before. So I moved my garden from the very back of my yard to the side of my house. And I'm trying all different techniques of gardening, to all kinds of different styles of container gardening, and showing you different ways. And so yeah, there's children in the background that you probably hear, but I live on a road that's got a lot of children, that's okay. So just hope you enjoy any little thing I share with y'all about my garden and what little I learn. I will pass it on to you and hope that you learn something and enjoy your gardening. So y'all have a good day, have a blessed day, and I'll see you again later. Bye-bye.